Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Oh, I know. I know. I know. What? I know.
When we moved to India for a year, I never expected our lives would change so completely. One morning, after taking a walk, we came home to find a little dog sitting quietly under a car outside our gate. She had just shown up as if she had chosen us. That was the first time we met Jalebi. There were a few street dogs in the neighborhood who didn't like her. They used to bully her, chasing her whenever they could. To stay safe, Jalebi would climb up onto the roofs of cars and perch there for hours, looking down at the world below. It broke my heart to see how she tried to protect herself from the others.
Quite like the water, don't you?
Sometimes the street dogs would attack her, leaving her with cuts and bite marks, would clean her wounds, give her antibiotics, and watch over her until she healed. No matter how many times she was chased off, she always found her way back to the spot in front of our house. It was as if she had decided that was her place. There was something different about Jalebi. Most of the street dogs in India were independent. They kept to themselves and didn't get too attached to people, but Jalebi wasn't like that. She had a loneliness about her, and she came alive whenever we came home. The joy in her eyes, the wag of her tail, it was like she had been waiting all day just for us. We couldn't help but fall in love with her. As winter set in and the mornings grew colder, we opened our gate one day and let her come inside to stay warm. From that moment on, she made the decision herself she was going to live with us, and honestly, we were happy to let her. Six months later, when it was time for us to leave India, we realized there was no way we could leave her behind. She had become part of our family. We live in Australia, but when we left India in January, Jalebi still had to stay behind for a while because of the rabies blood tests required for travel. She needed at least another month or two before she could legally leave the country. When it was time for her to go to Delhi for the next part of her journey, we found a wonderful homestay called Tail Magic that agreed to look after her for 2 months. Still remember the day we dropped her off there. I cried the entire drive back. The process ahead was long and there was still so much uncertainty. We didn't know if all the tests would come back clear or if something would stop her from being able to leave India. The waiting was incredibly hard. Because India is classified as a high-risk country for rabies, any animal travelling to Australia has to spend a minimum of 6 months in a low-risk country first places like France or Singapore. It was a stressful, complicated process, and we had no clear timeline for when Jalebi would finally be reunited with us. Thankfully, with a lot of help, we found an amazing woman in France who agreed to foster Jalebi during that 6-month waiting period. When Jalebi finally completed her time in France, she was cleared to travel. I went to pick her up from quarantine when she arrived, and the moment she saw me, she recognized me instantly. Her tail started wagging wildly, and she made this little whiny sound, half crying, half scolding, as if she were telling me off for leaving her for so long. It was one of the most emotional moments of my life. Originally, we had planned to bring her straight to Melbourne, but the quarantine facilities there were completely booked. So instead, we arranged for her to go to New Zealand first. She had to do 10 days of quarantine there before we could finally bring her home. When I saw her again after those long 10 months apart, it was pure joy. She jumped all over me, tail wagging furiously, licking my face like she couldn't believe I was real. Now she's been living with me and my mum in New Zealand for 6 months, and she's finally safe and settled. It's clear that her time on the streets left its mark. She still gets nervous sometimes, especially around other dogs. We know she was attacked and probably had rocks thrown at her or was chased away by people. That's why we're taking everything slowly, giving her time, patience and love so she can feel completely secure again. She may not be like other dogs, but that's what makes her so special. Jalebi is strong-willed and a little cheeky, but her heart is pure. She adores people and just wants to be close. I'm currently studying full-time online, which has been a blessing. It allowed me to move back from Melbourne to New Zealand to look after her during this transition. In June, Jalebi and I will travel back to Melbourne together to finally start the next chapter of our lives. The entire process from India to France to New Zealand and finally to Australia has cost us about $20,000 New Zealand dollars, or roughly $15,000 US dollars. It's a lot, but every cent was worth it. We often say we didn't rescue Jalebi, she rescued us. She's our little angel, the one we didn't know we needed until she found her way into our lives. If you ever find yourself thinking about adopting a dog or cat, especially one from the streets or a shelter, my advice is simple. Do it, but do it with your whole heart. It's not always easy. There will be challenges, patience, and sometimes heartbreak, but the love you receive in return will change you forever. These animals don't just need saving, they have a way of saving us too.